A few years ago, I found myself in a crossroads. I had a vision, I had a dream, but the path was not clear. The bridge from where I was standing to where I was going with my life was not built yet. I know you might have felt the same thing too. But here is the good news I have for you. Bridges don't build themselves. We have to build the bridges. We have to join our hands together to build those bridges until we got some foundations laid and we are having great bridges that are stronger, that are bigger, that are wider, that are better, and that are very, very good. Today, I am here to help you discover the tools, the resources, the method, and to develop the courage it takes to build your own bridge and to help the people around you to build their own bridges. So the question I have for you is, what bridge do you have to build today? I have spent so many years traveling around the world, speaking to thousands, and there's one discovery I have found. What is it? To be successful in life, you don't need to have talent alone. To be successful in life, you don't need to have connections alone. In fact, there are very talented people out there, but yet they are not successful. There are people with the best connections, connected to the most strongest and most influential people out there, but yet they aren't successful. And again, to be successful, you don't even need luck. There are a lot of people out there that have had the greatest lucks of their lives. Guess what? Yet they aren't successful. So what is the secret? I have found out, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, that to be successful in life, all you have to do is to build the right bridges. To build the right bridges. And that is what it takes to be truly successful in life. And I am here today to show you how you can do this in my 3-step framework. Number one, the first thing you have to do, you have to identify these bridges. And for those of you here who watched the news yesterday, especially the ABC News, you must have heard about the F-35 firefighter jet crash that happened in Alaska yesterday in the morning. And you know, the pilot that was flying this F-35 actually noticed that there was a problem right there at the cockpit. And when he realized there was a problem, he identified the gap. And what was the gap? There was a problem right in the dashboard. And you have to identify the gaps in your life to build your bridges. Gaps here simply means those challenges, those problems that you're seeing around you. The gap could just be the fact that you are seeing a problem of hunger somewhere in the part of the world. You're seeing a problem of inclusion somewhere in the part of the world. You're seeing a problem of poor leadership somewhere. And that is, if that is the problem for you, you have to identify that gap. And the second thing you have to start doing is what I called building connections. What the pilot did, he was able to communicate. In fact, when I listened to Colonel Paul, Tuxen in the ABC News reporter, he said something. He said the pilot communicated to the main station that was what was happening. At the cockpit, there was a fault, right, in the private jet. And he communicated to his team that this is what happened before he crashed the aircraft. And immediately he communicated, he did something. The other people were aware of it. In our lives, to build bridges, we have to build connections. We have to identify the mentors. We have to identify the resources. We have to identify the coaches that they have to help us in building bridges. We have to identify the communities where we have to find ourselves in order to build bridges. Toastmasters International is a community. And if that is one of the communities that will help you to build your bridges in life, you need to identify. And the last thing, which is very important, is to be able to do what? To take the courage it takes to build a bridge. Now, I love what the pilot did. When the pilot identified the fault, he communicated to the staff, to the community, to the station. The next thing was that what? He ejected himself through the parachute. And this is something we need to understand that's so important in building bridges. There was a time which was not supposed to be less than 2,000 feet from the ground surface. He needed to eject himself. And that is exactly what he do. This is the difference between life and death. If he had to come down a little bit to 100 feet before ejecting himself, he could have died. It means that the F-35 jet flight could have crashed with him inside. But what he did was that he knew exactly where he had to eject himself through the parachute. He knew exactly the number of feet he has to fall down before pressing the button for the parachute to pop up and save his life. And in life, we need to be able to identify what is that thing we have to do. What is that action we need to take? We need to take the courage to take that action immediately to build our bridges in life, because the momentum and the decision you have to make between the taking of the action and the action you've taken is always the difference between life and death. So right now, as I talk to you, I want to challenge you. What is that action you need to take right now to begin building that bridge, or to finish the process of building that bridge? I am here today, and we are all here today because somebody built the bridge. The people founded Toastmasters, and I'm here today because I had a mentor who coached me. I had parents who brought me up. I had coaches who coached me, and that is why I'm here today. And so our job here and now is to start building our own bridges for ourselves and for the next generation. So let us not wait for the bridges to appear, but let us proactively build these bridges now.